The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. Now, this is where we were yesterday when buyers started to step in. And we mentioned at yesterday's videos that buyers would have to step down here at around 19.9, 19.7, give or take. If you got below this level, there were virtually no buyers down here. And the VRVP was very, very clean. You could see if you break below this, there's nothing. You would have fell about 300 points, give or take, straight to the downside. The good note, though, as you start off the day, you bounce back up, you get right back into our key level, and you end the day right above it. You can also see we have a little bit of an order block up here as well, a little bit of a resistance stepping in, but all in all, a great close to the day. It was a little bit counterintuitive to yesterday, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of yesterday's action, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, a few concerns going into tomorrow, rest of the week, okay? First of all, we'll come back to the chart, but when we look at the calendar, biggest things coming up, going into Thursday, you have jobless claims, GDP. Those are big. But the biggest thing is going into Friday, and that's your PCE, which is what the Fed says is the biggest measure of inflation and what's happening there. And if you didn't notice, the ads are targeted because I'm an actual Giga Chad. So also, too, going back, I think this week is going to get interesting. We're still early on in the week. We're on a Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. So I am preparing for some consolidation heading into Thursday and Friday because Thursday and Friday give you more direction overall. If we look at the volume on the day today, it was nothing. But when I look here, and again, I've been the biggest bull out here, but if we hold below and get back below this level right here, 19.95, I see the downside. You can clearly see the head and shoulders potentially forming out here. I don't want to jump the gun yet. This would not be a short opportunity until you were to break back below and get below 19.7. At that point, you would quickly push down to 19.4. That's what I'd be looking for there. But ultimately, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm just concerned. I'm just being patient, right? Keeping my head on a swivel like I always tell you guys, okay? But the part that I said was interesting here is really quick. Look at the heat map here on the day. Pretty bizarre. You really look at the market, everything it's the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday, it was primarily, the entire market was basically, green, and semiconductors were getting tore up. Today, semiconductors up 3.8%, semiconductor equipment up 2.3%. The best, internet content and information also very good as well. You can see the AI plays are getting the most love here today, right? Isn't that interesting? And then the rest of the market, banks, XLF, energy, a lot of your Dow names getting wrecked, getting pulled back. Very important to see, right? Nasdaq had its best day overall compared to everything else. Okay, going back into that too, what you can really see is you go back into something like ES and look what's happening there. ES is what I will say is the most interesting looking index right now. Because all in all, is it making a comeback? And Dow was the one that was surprising us by bouncing the way it was. You're just bouncing where you needed to bounce, mounting previous highs. The S&P 500 still looks solid. But what I will say is you're still clearly in this little bit of a downtrend operating there. You need to get the break back to the upside with some volume, get some continuation. And I think that most likely comes going into PCE data or Thursday with jobless claims as well. It would be weird to get a breakout before then. It could happen, but again, I would be really waiting for PC and that data coming out there. So again, it's really interesting what we're seeing, a little bit of a flip-flop, but it's also going possibly back into that sector rotation. We see, the Dow names now going back into tech and semiconductors, which were hurting so badly. Super important that we're paying attention to that, right? And guys, just to let you know, this is the sponsor of this channel and the video. Just to let you know, this is Mumu, and this is me using their broker, how I use their heat map. I use all their education, things along those lines. So make sure you check them out. The link is down below if you want to check them out and see all their promotions, etc. But yeah, going back into ES, that's what we're looking at there. Now I go to Dow, show you what's happening. As you can see, Dow's basically just gone down all day. And this is concerning because Dow was stuck below this 39.5, 39.7 level for a while. We can see since, the end of May, just rejecting nonstop, right? Clear as day, just rejecting nonstop. And you finally break out and now you're back below. You want to see us get back above at least 39.6, 39.7. You get back above there, you look good. You most likely push back into highs. But until then, definitely a concern. The only other good part of what's really happening here is you have some higher lows that are being established since essentially April 19th. But besides that, it doesn't look great. Okay, so that's very important to understand what's happening here, what's taking place, and what's being priced in here. Okay, now broad market, a little bit deeper, what we're looking at as well. We go into DXY, some underlying things here as well. The DXY continues its upward move, right? We had a little bit of a pullback from Sunday going into Monday. Now you're pushing back to the upside, signaling again a potentially risk off. Don't want to have that risk on the table, less bullish momentum. We go into oil, again, been a topic, right? You try to get a breakout again today above $82, kind of came back in. You're kind of flatlining here. But oil, and again, DXY, yields, I'm more interested in higher time frames, and I'd be a fool, guys. If you've been here, you know I'm as bullish as the next guy. And I do believe as long as data continues to come out good, so primarily PCE, CPI, PPI, as long as that data comes out cooler, good, inflation going down, as long as it's good, I firmly believe the stock market continues up. But one of the signals that has been very apparent to us for bad data, or a leading indicator for bad data, has been energy. Now, again, I'm going to tell you right now, don't attack me, but this right here will not be priced in my opinion, to PCE just yet. It will not be. Not until mid to the end of July. So you still have time that I believe you're going to be pricing in all of this downward energy pressure on the supply chain broadly, which very much directs inflation in a good sense to, inflation to the downside. We've seen a clear, and again, I've shown this so many times on the channel over the past year, but just really quick, let me just throw the SPY as the overlay here. You can see there's a clear cut directional trend. The SPY obviously, tends to move very well when oil goes down. As you can see, oil goes down, SPY pushes all-time highs. Oil goes down, SPY pushes all-time highs. Oil goes up. Guess it's a leading indicator, right? Again, about a month goes by of bad data or bad oil prices going up. And guess what happens? Last July, boom, SPY goes down all the way through October, right? So it's important that we're able to identify that. Now, I'm not telling you this is, gospel or this has to happen, but I'm just telling you, keep your head on a swivel because these things are very important. We also go into XLE prices and we look at what's happening with XLE, the energy ETF. Again, I think this is quite possibly one of the best looking ETFs out there right now. I've been putting it on the back burner, but I'm telling you right now, energy looks hot. I'm not saying this to scare you or to say the market's going to crash and oil's going to skyrocket up. I do believe the election will have large implications on energy and oil, but what I'll say right now is this. Very simply put, energy is the best hedge. If you're net bullish broad on tech, the best hedge overall right now still appears to be energy broadly back to the upside. So if energy spikes, you anticipate inflation to be an issue. And that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm watching so closely here, specifically on the S&P. What's happening with the Dow is what's happening here with energy, because if energy breaks back up, I'd be willing to bet that you start to see some love broad-based markets as well. I mean, you go back to June and July of last year when the market was pulling back, energy was going crazy. You break here, the $94 level here, you're going to get nice. You're going to get a nice push up, probably back into 100 on XLE. Some of those best stocks I've been watching here. Exxon, one of the big ones, probably the granddaddy of all, energy names out there, looks phenomenal. Wants to break all-time highs again, looks very, very good. You have names like Oxy, the Warren Buffett name. It's been in that buy zone a few times, bounces out of it over and over. CVX, Chevron, another decent name, operating in a clear-cut pennant up here at highs. And again, guys, I'm going to have more of these charts. I'll be posting a lot of these on Twitter, so make sure you're checking that out. The link is down below as well. Again, a lot of free charts. Again, posted NVIDIA today, the Nasdaq, SPY, etc. So again, these names look interesting. Another one, Fang, Diamondback Energy, West Texas name, right? Again, you're at all-time highs already. You're just sitting at all-time highs, bull flagging, ready to run again off the 200 SMA almost. Again, already breaking out. So it's important we're being vigilant here. We're paying attention. I'm looking for opportunities all over the market. I'm not just people like, Tyler, you just want the stock market to go up. I like my account to go up. I like to focus on where are the big money-making opportunities, and I like to be hopefully on that side of the trade at all times. So again, things I'm focused on there. Again, going into that options market as well, diving into this. Exxon, again, I tell you guys what stocks and what trades I like, okay? For Exxon, I'd be going more dated, like the January 17th in particular. I think they're cheap. I'm telling you right now, 120s or 515, 520ish at the end of the day. They got below $5 in the day. The 115s are at 730, 740. Those got below into the $6 range today. Okay. Very cheap, affordable, long dated as well. The open interest also very, very good. Very solid open interest, out of the money as well. People are playing this name. They are playing this side of the trade and this side of the market as well. Okay, again, I'm telling you, it's a hedge. It's what it is, and it's the best performing, oil name out there. You have other options as well with like CVX and these other oil names that I mentioned, but Exxon's just my favorite. I'm going to tell you right now. If you have questions, comment down below. But again, I'm using this is just on my broker, who I use every single day as well with Moomoo, guys. So check them out. But again, you need to be doing your research, understanding how the options move, which ones work the best for yourself, and make sure you're doing that research, guys. Because again, this is where you make the money, is researching where the best positions are, where the money is, where open interest is spiking, and really where money is flowing in and out of the market to give yourself that best opportunity at all times. So again, those are some of my favorite names there. Going into tech and what's happening broad-based there. Apple, very, very interesting. Really quick though, going back into, let's go to Twitter really quick. So I just tweeted this out as well. So ChatGPT desktop for macOS is just released. Pretty wild what's happening here. So you're going to be able to integrate this with everything that you do on Apple products. Actually insane. Crazy. Super cool. With your pictures, with files, messages. Super cool. That'll be released. Apple's like slightly up in the after hours, nothing crazy, but definitely think this will bring more traction. As well, we go back and go look at some of the news that's been coming out over there too regarding Apple. I want to be really clear about this, guys. Again, like I don't know why we're not thinking more about it. What's happening with Apple, specifically in the broad market like this. Again, I do anticipate Apple, like in the rest of investors out there, that they're going to sell more phones, more products. Again, they're newer models. That's what this is all pushing, right? You're not making a new product. It's just going to be available on their newer products that have been released for the past year. So should increase sales. Again, things that you should be focused on with what's happening with AI and who's really going to be the winners broad-based as well. But also, too, guys, you keep asking me about the economic calendar and things here. I will say, too, Moomoo, too, if you go over down to news and you go over to calendar, you can actually decipher all of this and break through all of this for yourself and save IPOs, earnings, dividends, etc. So and, go specifically for countries, for CPI, etc. So you can break it all down for yourself so you have it. I know people have been asking me. They start just like investing.com. It's just easier to access there, so make sure you check it out. But anyways, that's what we're looking at there. The big question though is, I know people are going to ask me, Tyler, do you think we're going to continue? Do you think this is going to happen? Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have the perfect answer for you, and I'm not going to ever jump to a conclusion or give you an answer that I'm not confident in. What I'll tell you right now, though, is I think you need to be very patient. And a lot of you guys hate that. I understand. You hate it so much. But semiconductors do look good. That's the fact of the matter. You do look good. I was saying data positions make a lot of sense. Do what you got to do. You bounced off that. But going now into Friday and Thursday with jobless claims and PCE, I'm telling you right now, I don't think PCE is going to be bad, but I am telling you, you are one bad piece of data away from the S&P going just down quickly, very quickly. Tech is grabbing on to what's happening right now. And I think you have another month left in you as long as oil holds up. I mean, doesn't go crazy, but I think you at least have another good month of data in you. But you need to be paying close attention to that. Very, very, very close attention. But you're holding the levels that matter, specifically here on the S&P. We go back into Qs. You're getting back above your level here too, 478.5. But I'm telling you guys, just be patient here. The same thing, we go back to, previous CPI and PPI. I told you guys, good CPI, PPI, you're going to keep shooting up. And you did. You had a great run. We had a great run. Fantastic. But when you get in these areas to where you try to just predict and you try to get too aggressive, this is where investors lose their money and traders. And I'm just telling you guys out of experience, out of, my personal trading, this is where I've had my biggest slip ups, biggest hiccups, and my most failures, right? Was trying to overtrade, going into big data when I have a bias. And even though I might have a bias of good data coming out, I'm trying to hit the brakes as much as possible. The only thing out there that looks appetizing, that's interesting to me, is energy. It is the only thing right now. I have my Apple position, that's for 2025, but I've been pretty conservative with what I'm doing there. I am telling you right now, the only thing that looks really interesting to me is energy. It's energy names, XLE, because I think this is the play that can go, even if the market goes down, I think XLE can go up. Even if the market goes up, I think Dow will continue to go up and carry XLE up. That's my personal opinion here, right? I don't think energy is going to get destroyed anymore than it has. That's just my personal, what I'm looking at based on OPEC and overall expectations. So until Friday, guys, I'm going to be really conservative, very passive here. You guys have seen me. You guys have seen me over the past few weeks. You see me on Twitter, right? I've been very bullish, but I think there's times where you have to hit the brakes and slow down just a little bit and make sure you know where you're at in the broad-based market. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.